Darren Till versus Jared Cannonier is the fight I want to see made next in the UFC Middleweight division. And if you think of things logically, it's the best fight to make. Because there's no other fight to make that makes any sense whatsoever. Everyone use your brain for a second while I go through the rankings of the middleweight division. We've got Israel Adesanya, who's booked against Yoel Romero. Champion versus number 3. Number 1, Robert Whittaker. Being very noble, donating bone marrow to his daughter, apparently. I praise him for that very highly. He's a very noble man. But out on the sidelines injured. He's not fighting. We've got Paulo Costa, again, out on the sidelines injured for a very long time. We've got Darren Till, free. We've got Jared Cannonier, free, looking for an opponent, much like Darren Till. We move down the list. Jack Hermansson, Kelvin Gastelum, both coming off losses. They should fight each other. That makes a lot of sense to me. We've got Derek Brunson, Edmund Shabazian at 8 and 9. Both booked against each other. Uriah Hall booked against Jacare Souza. Brad Tavares out injured, coming off a KO loss. Omari Akhmedov coming off a win, but only ranked number 12. This is the fight to make. Jared Cannonier versus Darren Till. And just because it hasn't happened at UFC 248 does not mean that this fight cannot happen. And that's what worries me about Jared Cannonier, because just because the fight hasn't happened on short notice for you, Jared Cannonier, doesn't mean you need to move on away from a fight with Darren Till. Let's just reschedule things, you know? Let's put you guys as maybe the co-main event of UFC 249. That would be amazing. If we could have Darren Till versus Jared Cannonier as a co-main event to Khabib versus Ferguson. Sign me up. We don't need to rush things. Let's give everyone a full camp, Jared Cannonier, and let's get the fight that we want. Rather than moving on from Darren Till because he doesn't want to take on a top 5 contender on short notice. That's a very viable reason not to take a fight, because Jared Cannonier is a dangerous man. But I want to talk about that, because I've been watching a lot of Jared Cannonier fights recently, I'll be honest with you guys. And I've also not watched too many of Darren Till's fights recently, but I know of Darren Till's fights. I've watched them all happen live. I remember them very well. For a while, after Jared Cannonier defeated Jack Hermansson, I was thinking to myself, and I think the rest of the MMA world was thinking this too, oh my god, this is the dark horse of the division. I feel like that perception has kind of changed. And I feel like that's a case with a lot of fighters. We see them fight, and because of our recency bias, we forget everything that happened before, and we kind of overhype them a little bit, you know? We think, oh my god, this guy is the best in the world. And then someone fights next weekend. This guy is the best in the world. Because it's recency bias. I feel like we've all kind of fallen for it here. And I think we're in mutual agreement that now we're starting to see Darren Till has way more of a chance than we once thought he did. Because a lot of people, when this fight first started being talked about next, were thinking, and even me, I was thinking, I don't want to see Darren Till versus Jared Cannonier. I want to see Darren Till get a title shot, but not going through Jared Cannonier first. I mean, maybe him versus Brunson, maybe him versus Shabazian could be a little bit easier, but not Cannoneer. Now I'm starting to think to myself, hang on a second. Darren Till's a fucking monster. What am I fucking doing? He's a monster. I feel like we all just forget what happened. Just because the fight wasn't interesting between him and Kelvin Gastelum doesn't change the fact that he just beat Kelvin Gastelum and made it look pretty easy. Was it the most entertaining fight of all time? No. Did Kelvin Gastelum lay a glove on Darren Till? Once. Was there a moment in that fight where Darren Till got rocked against a cage and was saved by Kelvin trying to take him down? No. We just saw Kelvin go to war with Adesanya. We didn't see any of the same things happen when he fought Darren Till. Darren Till won a clear 2-1. Like it was nothing. Just completely outclassed him. Outpointed him. Are we forgetting what we saw here? Kelvin Gastelum not too long ago was the number 1 contender, right? The best guy in the division, not named as Israel Adesanya. Now all of a sudden, because he loses a close decision that wasn't the most entertaining to Darren Till, that win doesn't mean anything? I don't know. I like Darren Till's chances against Jared Cannonier. And the reason why I like his chances a little bit more is because now he's had time to heal his leg. I feel like he's had a legit leg injury that he hasn't really wanted to say that he's going through surgery for, because obviously that exposes that that's going to be a weak part of his body. But he does have a problem with his leg. He has a problem with his knee. It sounds like a torn ACL from what we're hearing. And what he told us, a little bit unstable, not too pain orientated, but unstable. Those are key words that you hear when someone's describing they've hurt their ACL. I feel like he has hurt his ACL. But he's now had since November onwards to heal that. And now he's looking to get back in there at the end of April, which gives him plenty of time and a full training camp, which is very fair. And I'm looking forward to the fight. I think Darren Till wins. I really do. I like Jared Cannonier, but I've recently been watching a lot of his fights. I watched a highlight of Dominic Reyes KOing Jared Cannonier, and it kind of reminded me, oh, hang on a second, I kind of forgot about all of these fights in Jared Cannonier's career, because you don't realise things in the moment sometimes. It takes guys to go on and win a few more times to get your attention. But Dominic Reyes really fucked up Jared Cannonier badly. And I know that's at light heavyweight and it's a completely different division. I completely understand that. But what I saw in the Dominic Reyes fight was a man strategically outstrike and break down Jared Cannonier. I don't know how much credit I'm giving to Jared Cannonier for outstriking Jack Hermansson. I don't know how much credit I'm willing to give Jared Cannonier for defeating Anderson Silva, who I thought chose an easy way out with his leg. I really do, and I think that to this day. And a lot of people gave me shit at the time. People weren't giving me a shit a few weeks after. I said it at the time, Anderson Silva's faking that leg injury, and people were telling me that I'm stupid and they would never do that. And then what happens? Leg's fine. You know? No surgery required. Oh no. No x-ray. Oh, what a coincidence. Nothing was wrong with his leg. Oh, he's jumping on it to test if it's okay. If you're jumping on your leg to test if it's hurt or not, it's not hurt. He got finished by an inside leg kick. Very good from Jared Cannonier, but how much do we credit a win over Anderson Silva? I mean, there came a time in history where beating Anderson Silva made you the best in the world. Ask Chris Weidman. And then there started to be a thing where Anderson Silva hasn't won a real fight since 2013, where the wins seem a little bit less impressive. Okay, and you may say, oh, what about the Derek Brunson fight? I thought Brunson beat Anderson Silva quite clearly, to be honest with you. I really did. And Anderson Silva hasn't won a fight in my eyes since 2013. How much credit are we giving Jared Cannonier here? How much credit are we giving Jared Cannonier for his win over David Branch? Because let's be real. He lost to Luke Rockhold. He beat Thiago Santos. Very good. Before that, he lost to Luke Rockhold. It was a bad loss, an embarrassing loss, and we all know what Luke Rockhold is like now with his chin. In hindsight, maybe Branch should have had a bit of an easier time against Luke Rockhold, but he bounces back, beats Thiago Santos, very good, I'm willing to acknowledge that. Then he loses to Jared Cannonier. Then he loses to Jack Hermansson. Then he loses to Alexander Shlemenko at Russian Cage Fighting Championships by guillotine in the first round. I'm telling you guys, I don't know how highly I'm rating Jared Cannonier's resume. I looked at it originally and I thought to myself, dear God, this guy's got a resume. Then I really looked at it and I thought to myself, hang on, that's a loss to Dominic Reyes. Hang on, that's a loss to Jan Blachowicz. Hang on, that's a loss to Glover Teixeira. Hang on, that's a loss to Sean Jordan by KO. I think Darren Till's going to win. I saw something in the Dominic Reyes fight where Dominic Reyes was able to find a hole in Cannonier's game. Because what Cannoneer does is he stands very heavy on his lead leg and he throws the right hand from behind it. Okay, and that's what he does. And he does that a lot in his fights. Stands heavy on the lead leg, throws a right hand behind it. Tends to be what he does. And Dominic Reyes made an adjustment. I'm going to throw the inside leg kick then, and I'm going to knock you off balance every single time you try and throw that right hand. If Dominic fucking Reyes, the fucking athlete, can figure out holes in your striking game, Darren Till's going to figure them out tenfold, because he's been doing this his entire life. And you're talking about a guy who can inside leg kick and leg kick for the best of him. It's Darren Till. I feel like he's going to win the fight against Jared Cannonier. I think he has a really good chance in doing so. I think the striking heavily favours Darren Till. I think the grappling, people talk about, but what about the grappling of Darren Till? What? What about the grappling of Darren Till? When's he ever been out-grappled? Tell me one time Darren Till's been held down. Wait. Tell me one time Darren Till's ever been held down when it wasn't after he got knocked down and concussed by Tyron Woodley. I'll wait for a time, because it's never happened. Okay? It has never happened. He always finds his way back up to his feet, and I know that middleweight is a completely different division, but let's face it, Jared Cannonier isn't the best grappler himself. He's a striking heavy guy. He's going to come into this fight looking to strike with Darren Till. And I think if you're looking to strike with Darren Till at middleweight, now that Till has acclimatized himself, think about this. I need to keep going with this. I need to keep going a little bit more. Darren Till, in his middleweight debut, beat Kelvin Gastelum. He did that after landing in America 3 days before his fight, still looking drained at the weigh-ins. What's an acclimatized Darren Till going to look like? A man where he's had some time at middleweight, he's built himself into the weight class a little bit more, maybe things will be a bit smoother in terms of fight week. What's that Darren Till going to do? Because if he's even 5% better than the Darren Till that showed up against Kelvin Gastelum, then maybe he beats Israel Adesanya. I'm back on the Darren Till train. I've never left because I kept picking him, and I picked him to beat Kelvin Gastelum, and everyone told me I'm crazy, and people are going to tell me I'm crazy again, but I'm picking him to beat Jared Cannonier, and I think he will finish Jared Cannonier. There you go. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and the winner of Darren Till vs Jared Cannonier 100% deserves a title shot. 100%. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.